know, Smite's matchmaking is terrible in its current state, which is holding the game back from being able to grow into the giant that it should be. Pros and casuals alike can all agree the system needs to change. So in this video, we're going to look at a concept I've designed to make players' lives much better, and maybe with enough support, we can get HiRez to consider implementation. First, let's look at why the ELO MMR system doesn't work for Smite. MMR is designed for a 1v1 scenario to measure the skill level of a single player against the competition to see where they fit in. Smite is a 5 versus 5 game, so straight away you can see the problem there. Also, players have a preferred role, be it hunter, support, etc. Now, you're not going to get your preferred role in all the games that you play, which in turn affects what your MMR should be. As a hunter, you could be a 2000 MMR player, but as a support, you could only be a 1500 MMR player. A multiplayer online battle arena, MOBA for short, is one of the few genres that your mistakes makes the enemy stronger. So, for an example, take two hunters. One manages to either get his own kills or get some good support to get a few kills early. He would then be much stronger than previously stated. Now, because of that advantage, the god's extra strength is allowing him to play at a much higher MMR, harder to kill, and hitting much harder himself. We have all seen the games where you know someone is a worse player than you, but because they have got some kills from either your team's mistakes or an element of luck, has ended up carrying the game. Now, the matchmaking process basically adds all 5 players' MMR together, giving them a total group MMR. Then trying to group another 5 players with the same collective group MMR as your team. The problem lies that if you have someone in your team with 2300 MMR, maybe 200 or 300 higher than anyone else on the enemy team, you will get someone in your team with 1400 MMR to balance them out. Ironically, you can't duo queue with a gold player if you're diamond, but you can still be grouped with golds and silvers. Now, if you lane that person up against someone that's got 1900 MMR and they just get outplayed because they have less skill than that player then gets fed and can take on players of much higher skill level just because of scaling. So now you can see the problems with the current system. Time to explain to you guys my solution. I'm going to explain this from a league point of view, but it can easily be converted to normals. The old system is trying to be too accurate. All you need to do is put people around the same level in the same game and let them duke it out. Let's use the tiers and divisions as the main placement factor. Place everyone in their division. Once everyone's there, now sort everyone by their MMR rating. So you'll have something that looks like this. Diamond 5s with players with a high end of 2000 MMR to the low end of 1700 MMR. Platinum 1 players with 1900 MMR down to the low end of 1500 MMR. So now that everyone's sorted into their division and then ordered by their MMR, split them into blocks of 50 and make 10 groups from that 50 like this. The first 10 will be the top MMR of each team. Then just work down the list putting players into each group till you have all 10 teams filled. This way you know for sure that everyone in the current game are within 50 player placements from yourself. That way you won't see Masters games with silvers. Now this will work for normals as well, by solely using the MMR to sort player placements, but still using the blocks of 50 from the top down. From a coding standpoint, you could assign every division a number, starting from bronze 5 at 0, bronze 4 would be 0 or 1, 10 would be silver 1, placing the division number first, then the MMR assigns every player a 5-digit number that would be used in the matchmaking process. Now, implementing this into a queuing system, the queue timer should work on an expanded search function. For the first 2 minutes, we'll only group you with people in the same tier. Then every 2 minutes after that, we'll expand the search by 2 divisions each time until the 50 players are found. This will allow the players some control on who they are grouping with, because you will know which ranges the search is looking for players at all times. If you feel the range is getting too big, you can simply requeue and restart the process. This then means that players that are willing to have a longer queue time to guarantee a game with people around their level, and let players who don't care just queue until the queue pops. When it comes to group queuing, the difference between the players will be where the search starts. For example, the Platinum 3 and the Platinum 1 player group will automatically start 2 minutes deep into the search system over someone that's solo queuing. Smite needs disconnect protection badly, as it's pretty much a guaranteed loss for anyone that loses a player due to client crash, internet going down, PC crashing, etc. Once a player disconnects, start a 5-minute timer, and if they haven't reconnected in that time, either set the game into safe mode, reduce the loss of MMR and tribute points by half, or make it so the team with the disconnect don't lose anything. I would personally go with one of the first two options. Also make it that you can't be demoted in a disconnect game. Now, in an attempt to reduce the abuse of this system, add a vote after 5 minutes for the team to say if they believe it was a genuine issue or a rage quit. If it was a genuine issue, include the missing player in the disconnect protection, but if it was a rage quit, that player would not be included and take the full penalty of the loss. Now, this system does open up players to abuse from others trying to force them to leave the game, but Smite can be quite a hostile place at the moment anyway. You have a mute button and a report button to combat this. The tribute point system for what is gained and lost is kind of silly. After each game you're always sitting there wondering what you're going to get. A lot of the times you get 16 points for stupidly easy wins, and a hard slog of a match gives you 6 points. A better way to do this would be to make a slider, starting at 5 and ends at 15. Set the marker at 10, and after a win, move the slider up 1 point. After a loss, move it down 1 point. Lastly, have the slider reset on promotions and demotions to stop someone progressing too quickly, or on the other side of the coin, if someone's having a really bad day, get their tribute points completely destroyed. After your first win, your next win will be worth 11 points, or your next loss will cost you 9 points. Basically a win streak system, but you will know what you get for a win and what you get for a loss at all times. If you are on a losing streak, you will have to earn your way back up. And if you're on a winning streak, you get rewarded with maybe playing a couple of games with a suboptimal god that you just want to play. Players entering League should have placement games. I'm okay with that, with a maximum placement of Gold 1 after winning all 10 games. Solo queue only, so no boosting. What should change is the amount of MMR gained by the new players is ridiculous. Some are getting 100 a win. I've seen players with 11 games played, 6 won, 5 lost with 2000 MMR. MMR should be gained at the same rate as all players that have been around for years. No starter boosts or anything. Everything must be earned. Around 10 and 15 a game is a good number. So what do you think? Leave a comment if you've got any extra suggestions. Hit the like button if you like the idea, so we've got a metric to show HiRez the support for this concept. And I do stream, so come and hang out sometime. All the information is in the box below.